What is up, guys? I know I haven't made a video in a while. Me and Phoenix, we've been going out to the lakes quite a lot these past week and a half, and the only thing to show for it is just bites. And so we're going out there, we're getting anywhere from 2 to 6 bites, but they're just not getting the hook. So I have nothing to really show you guys. And I'm a visual guy, so if I'm gonna be giving you guys any tips about throwing big swim baits, I might as well be showing you guys, that they do catch fish. And so when we're not catching fish, we're just getting bites, not really anything special. So today I'm just going to be talking about what I think are the best rods to get started throwing swim baits on. I'm not saying the rods and reels that I have are like the very best rods and reels. I'm just saying as in the rating of the rods, like heavy, extra heavy, and extra heavy, and then the gear ratios on the reel, which I think will be best suitable for the agenda at hand when throwing, specific swim baits. So we're gonna get right into it. So the first rod I'm gonna be talking about is for my bottom baits. I'm talking about Huddleston's, Alpha Trouts, and Magnums. And what I'm throwing those on is just this. This is a Kuma Guide Select. It's a 711. It's an extra heavy rod, and it's got a lot of backbone to it. Now when it comes to these jig hook baits, and I'm fishing them down in like 30-40 feet, when I get that bite, I want to have as much backbone that I can have on those fish, so I can drive that jig hook right in the roof of their mouth. Because if you have a too flimsy of a rod, you might not be able to get the best hook set on those fish. And so with the stouter rod, an extra heavy rod like this, you'll be able to set those hooks hard enough. Now the reel is just a Shimano Cardiff. It's a 300A size. This reel is perfect for those slow moving baits. It's a 5:3 to 1 gear ratio, I believe. So it's really slow, it picks up line really slow. So you can work those baits slow on the bottom so you can get that perfect presentation that the fish are looking for. And with this reel, it's got a lot of power to it. So when you hit the fish and you just start cranking them up, that fish has its head turned only to you, facing you, coming up. And so you can just grind those fish in with this kind of reel. And what's great about this is this rod, I believe, is only $130. So it's a really solid rod for actually a really good price. And this reel is about the same. And of course you can find these used for cheaper. I've seen Cardiffs go for $80. I've seen these rods go for $80. So it's a nice, perfect, cheap setup. It can also throw a wide variety of different baits. I've seen guys throw punkers on it. I've seen guys throw 250s on it. So it's not just a Hud rod, but for me, since I have a couple other rods, this is just my Hud and Magnum rod, which it gets the job done. Now moving on to my middle water column, so like my glide baits, I'm pretty much just going to be using this setup. This is an iRod Genesis 2. It's an XL swim. It's an extra heavy, but in my opinion, it's an extra heavy. I'm able to throw my Hinkle trout, which weighs 9 ounces. I'm able to throw an 11-inch soft tail, which I think weighs 9.5 ounces. So it can throw some pretty heavy baits with no problem whatsoever. It's actually a fairly reasonable price rod. Only $150 rod. Again, really solidly priced rod. Now the reel that I have on here is an Abu Garcia Big Shooter. It's pretty much a bigger size Abu Garcia Rero SX that I used to have. It's a really solid reel. It's a 7:1 gear ratio reel, so I'm able to work those baits faster because with me and my glide baits, I like to pick up line quickly on them. Now this rod is pretty stout, but the tip on it is a little bit lighter than some of the other rods that I've seen on the market that are extra heavies. With treble hook baits, you want to have a little bit of tip so you don't pull the treble hooks out of a fish's mouth, but you still want the backbone to drive those treble hooks into a fish's mouth. 8 to 12 inch glide baits, so you got to move a lot of water with those, and with the stout rod, you're able to do that quite effectively. And then last but not least, I'm going to be talking about my top water rod that I use. This is just a Lamiglas X11. It's an 8-foot rod. It's an extra heavy, but in my opinion, it's only a heavy. It says it's rated 1 to 8 ounces. In my opinion, it's probably 1 to maybe 6. Maybe 6 is probably the highest end that I would go on it, but I'm throwing mostly baits anywhere from 3 to 5 ounces. So I'm throwing my punkers, I'm throwing my 10-inch triple trout, something that I think because this rod has a lot of tip to it. So it's got a lot of tip to it. I mean, a lot of bend in that. So with this rod, I know that if I'm working treble hook baits, you know, pretty fast, I'm not gonna be pulling the hooks out of the fish's mouth. It's gonna load up perfectly well. So I think this is like a really solid triple trout rod, just because it would load up well. And with triple trouts, you're mostly burning them back. And I see a lot of dudes sometimes when they're burning them back, they'll get bit and the rod's too stout and they'll just rip the hooks right out of the fish's mouth. This one will load up perfectly. On this, I have the Daiwa Alexa 300, super common reel. You can get these super cheap these days, but you can't overlook them. There are super solid reels. I've owned just this one. This one has been with me for quite some time. It's almost on its last leg, but it still gets the job done. It's a 7:1 gear ratio reel, just because when I'm throwing my punker or I'm throwing my triple trout, I like to move water really quickly. And this thing is an incredibly great starter reel. They're reasonably priced and they're workhorses. As long as you have them maintenance, have them serviced, they'll last you quite some time. Now, the Llama Glass, I believe, is only $90 rod. It's super cheap. Sadly, I've broken 2 of them, which is kind of sucks. But Llama Glass is really cool about it. They sent me replacements for each and every one. This one has held up the longest, so I've kept this one around, and it's pretty good. When you get one of those ones that doesn't break, they're really good rods. So now with all 3 of these rods, you can find them on Tackle Warehouse. You can also find the Daiwa Alexa on Tackle Warehouse and the Shimano Cardiff on Tackle Warehouse. Now with the big shooter, you would have to probably go on eBay to find it. It's a super solid reel. You can find them anywhere from $150 up to $250, but they're really solid reels. They're definitely worth the price if you can find one at a good price like I did. If you guys had any questions about the rod and reels that you're thinking about picking up, or the rods and reels that I have here, just leave a comment below. I'll try and get back to them. But me and Phoenix, we're gonna try and get back out there and hopefully catch a fish on film for you guys. We'll hopefully give you guys some tips while we're out there on, you know, how we caught the fish and all that good stuff, because this time of year it can be pretty difficult to find the fish. But once you find the fish and you're starting to get the bites, it's only a matter of time before you find the right fish that eats your bait really well. You get the hook in them, get it to the boat, and it could be the fish of a lifetime. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything swim bait related, if you guys want to see different style of swim bait video, just leave a comment below. I'll get to them. Next week I'll probably do a line video, because I know a lot of guys are asking about line, and I've got a few different lines that I throw, so I'll make that video here pretty soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, chase your dreams.